Wonderful. Good to have you all with us. And oh, so punctual right at the beginning, 4 o'clock. Often we're saying, oh, we'll wait 5 minutes before we start because devotees take a little time to come. But we've got an exalted gathering of Vaishnavas with us already. So, are you seated comfortably? Everyone except Rupa Nuga Prabhu and Seva Rupa, who are both standing up and moving around. All is good. You may do so. The rest are seated comfortably. Let us begin. So let us begin with this. If we ever go to the back to basics for, or what is it for children, then we know Praneshwari teaching the children. First of all, we give obeisances to each other when we come to the devotees. So we are still children in the eyes of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. For sure, we are still children. So may we do as children are to do and as Vaishnavas are to do. Give our humble obeisances to each other. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jai Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki jai, and Jai all our Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda ki jai. So today is what is today? Oh, well, today in different parts of the world is different things, isn't it? Because we're always in different parts of the world. Actually in California, our today, which is your tomorrow, it's the installation day, I believe, of the Santa Cruz deities. The same day as the installation of the deities in Dum Dum Park, which means that will be Thursday, your tomorrow. Your tomorrow, Thursday, and our today is the installation day. So I'm
sorry, Jeevana, you know, or Kumkum, are we celebrating that on the 12th? Or is that just because it's a Saturday?
I heard it was going to be on Saturday. Maybe that's because we can, more people can participate. But anyway, yeah, it's set on Saturday, this Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's 100% practical because it's the weekend, devotees can come together. Yeah. And some devotees do have jobs. So we're not all yet retired. In fact, even those who are retired are not retired. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. All right, so that's tomorrow for America, so we'll wait for you and the weekend. We'll wait for you to all honor that. But in the meantime, I can just say briefly, because it's on our calendar for now, thinking about it to some degree, that the installation of the deities in Dum Dum Park was maybe the biggest Sankirtan, I do not know, actually organized by our mat, means with the number of mridangas and people, and I don't know, I haven't read a write-up and looked up today, but it was many mridangas, and they were brought in from like the mridanga sections of the different temples in Calcutta. And so, Bengalis, well, everybody likes to play the mridanga. I mean, who can play the mridanga nicely? And so it was literally, every Sankirtan is a grand Sankirtan, but it was like a grand Sankirtan through the streets of Dum Dum Park, that area, with, of course, a big Kirtan party, and then everything that followed for the installation of the deities. But that's one thing that comes to mind at this day. So Chintamani is in 2 places. She's on Facebook and on Zoom. Welcome. And she's driving around again. Jesse. Oh, she's sitting still, car parked. All right. Dandavat, dandavat. So today, perhaps, at least we'll begin by going through the next 4 verses. Paramananda Prabhu of Upadeśāmṛta. Paramananda Prabhu described the first 4 verses as a bundle, the first bundle of the Upadeśāmṛta. And the next 4 verses are also a bundle of Upadeśāmṛta before it comes to the last 3 verses, because 4 plus 4 plus 3 equals, count on your hands, or abacus if you're Chinese, and then you find that's 11. There are 11 verses in 4 plus 4 plus 3 means 11 verses. So 4 verses last week and the week before, perhaps we've covered. This week, 4 verses, the next 4 verses. And the last 3 verses are all those high verses, I mean, leading to the highest place, each of those verses leading to Radha Kund, and under proper guidance of Guru Maharaj Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, then, and Srila Saraswati Thakur, of course, then getting the proper conception of what is Radha Kund, and not our material conceptions. So we have bundle number 2 of Upadeśāmṛtam, and the verses are 5, 6, 7, 8. But I think before we do that, we should actually at least hear, and not quiz, but at least hear the 6 and 6 of the bundle number 4, the 6 items of our sense control, 6 things which will destroy our devotional service, 6 things which will ensure the success of our devotional service, and the 6 in loving interactions between devotees. So a volunteer to read them, and I think maybe a good volunteer is Praneshwari, because I know she has everything organized in front of her. And just to read them slowly with understanding so that we get it, and everyone try to also think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This, and then the 6 of the unfavorable, etc. Try to consciously think of them, but at least let us hear. Yes, Praneshwari, are you?
Yes, Maharaj. Text 1. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Text 2. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of the spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements. Text 3. The 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. And the last one, which is so beautiful and reminds me of Salt Lake City: offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad, and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another.
Jai. And very sweet that you like that verse very much. A good symptom. Beautiful. All right, so we've been grinding the sandalwood on the paste, and each time we hear, then again the glories, all this is coming to the glories of devotional service, of bhakti yoga, of surrender, the practices of surrender, building our faith, letting us understand what we should be doing on the journey, how to be successful on our journey. We're getting the briefing when we, okay, I was going to say, previously when we'd run safaris, the day before we enter a country, we'll all be together and we sort of have a briefing about the country we're going to go to, because some countries you can do this and can't do that, etc., etc. So almost it's like a briefing. Okay, we're going on this journey of Bhakti Yoga. Now here's your briefing for how to proceed and what to do, what not to do, how to relate with the people in this country. And actually, in one sense, we are, well, tomorrow going to that country of, we have that prayer, that country of Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, their associates in the pure devotional world. And so in one sense, we're sitting here also getting a little briefing for, okay, what are we going to do when we get there? But we're getting this briefing from Rupa Goswami, no less. So how we'll behave in the country of Goloka, we have to prepare for that. So controlling our 6 senses, avoiding the 6 things which will destroy our journey. What's our journey? We're going to that country to destroy our journey. Follow the 6 things which will ensure the success we'll get through in our journey, and how to relate with the residents of that plane. So here we are on planet Earth, waiting tomorrow to go there. But today we're with the devotees. So this is the point. We're already in the devotional association, preparing to go. So now 5, 6, 7, 8. Or yes, 5, 6, 7, 8, because 5 and 6 are very closely related. 7 is there, and 8 is there. They're kind of in this step. So let us come to this, and maybe I can ask to Paravananda Prabhu, number 5, and number 6, maybe, because they're so related. Maybe you can say slowly, read the, do you have the text in front of you? Anyway, you can say the meaning, 5 and 6, whether you have the word by word or you, I know you know. So please share with us.
Krishneti yasigiritam manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatidikcha bhajantamisham shrushrushya bhajanadikya mananya anya nirdadi shunyam hridam ipsita sangalabhyam. So this is the 5th verse. And suddenly I don't see anybody, I just see Maharaj.
I don't see anybody. My whole Zoom window has disappeared. I'm left in...
Right. Anyhow, Maharaj, so yeah, here you go. Here's a wonderful translation. So, Krishneti yasigiritam manasadreta. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation or diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced and undeviated devotional service and who is completely devoid of propensity to criticize others. That's Prabhupada's, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, there's so many different interpretations and they can be given. You can elaborate on so many points in each of the verses. So 3 types of devotees. One devotee who is chanting the holy name. Some faith is there. By some reason, he is chanting the holy name. And it is advised that we should honor that devotee in our mind. We should offer our respect in our mind wherever we see that person or hear that person. But when one is initiated, the one who is engaged in bhajan and who is initiated already by the spiritual master, we have to offer our humble obeisances to such person. because he is connected to that line, and it's only a matter of time. He is not just, how to say, he made that step. There is some positive movement. He is moving in the right direction. He is connected to the line. So by offering our obeisances to that person, we're also offering our obeisances to the whole preceptorial line, the ideal that he embodies, because he committed himself on that path. So that's why it is advised, and happily serving together. And then there is a devotee who is Ananya Bhak, who is exclusively dedicated himself to Krishna. He is on a different platform. He will not see anything without connection with Krishna. The topmost devotee, the Mahabhagavata, the Uttama Adhikari, he is so much seeing everything in connection with Krishna that for him there is no necessity in preaching. It's already clear. Everything is with the Lord. So in our interest is to take shelter and association of such Vaishnava and serve him. So 3 types: offer in mind, second, offer obeisances and serve together, and offer and take shelter of the topmost Vaishnava and serve that Vaishnava. And then the next one is how not to see, because sometimes we see devotees are we can say they're meant for the human nature in the devotees. So this verse is describing that. And that will be Drishtva Svabhava Janitai Vakushashta Dosha Na Prakritasya Iha Bhakta Janasya Pashi. So Na Prakritasya Iha Bhakta Janasya Pashi. They said that there is no fault, there is nothing mundane in the nature of the devotee. So we should ignore that. Just like the Ganges, Ganga Basam Nakalu Budbuddha Pena Pankaj. Brahma Dravatvam Apagachhati Nira Dharma. So just like the Ganges, if we go to the Ganges, and everybody been to Ganges, Madhusudana Maharaj can say many things about being to the Ganges. And we've all been to the Ganges. And sometimes so many things are floating. In the Ganges, the current is so strong. The water appears to be filled with mud because of churning of the water, and brings the sediments. And sometimes you see a dead body floating. Human, animal, dead body. Some garbage is floating, some foam is floating. So many things are floating in the Ganges, but we're not hesitating. We're offer our obeisances by entering the water with full faith, understanding that Ganges, in reality, is absolutely divine personality, divine substance. So it will be very beneficial for us to take shelter of the Ganges, to pay obeisances, to offer some prayers, to offer some offerings, and then enter the waters in that kind of mood, regardless what is floating in the water. So in a similar way, this is how we see a devotee. Besides, it is mentioned that Niradharma is just the nature, like we are the humans, we have human nature. So the water, the Ganges, the river, have a certain nature. So Niradharma, there's nothing wrong with that. We have some mud in it, some foam, something floating, following the current of the water. We should ignore that. That's not important. So focus on the divine substance. Adjust, like Srila Guru Maharaj said, what is your service? And he would always say that. Srila Gurudev would always say that. What is your service in this mud? When you come to the holy place, adjusting your angle of vision. That's how you should do that. So here you go. Maharaj, you continue.
Okay, but I was going to ask to Kumkum Devidasi if she would like to read us and make any comment on the next verse.
And this is
Verse 7, Didi.
7.
A beautiful verse, so hopeful. Actually, all the verses are beautiful, of course. Sorry, I shouldn't say. Anyway, Srila Saraswati Thakur saying, when he's asked about which of these preparations on your plate, which of these preparations of prasad is the best, he said, oh, each is better than the other.
Yes.
So, yes, so still another best verse, verse 7.
Okay. Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sityapi Avidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kint vadarad anudinam kalu saiva justa swadvi kramad bhavati tad gada mulahantri. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root.
Jai. Yes, please give some light to this, some comment.
A comparison to candy is very easy for anyone to identify with, because there is no one who doesn't like it, even if somebody decides to keep it out of their diet for the most part. But the eternal version of candy or sweetness is the holy name. So everything that we're seeking in this world to be sweet, maybe it's not only sugar candy, but it's also the fragrance of the most beautiful flower, or the best preparation that's not candy, but it's still very nicely prepared. All of these things we're so attracted to, but the origin of all of that is Krishna's holy name and his character and pastimes and activities. So this is what we're actually looking for. And even if we're not that aware of it right now, it's just like when somebody is jaundiced, they think sugar candy tastes bad. So similarly, before we're well, spiritually well, we may think that we're not attracted to such sweet things. But by participating, by beginning, and every day, this is saying, of course, actually all the time, then it will awaken our natural, healthy propensity to want to engage more and more with the holy name will come out. We will be tasting.
Kobe hobe bolo se dinamar. For those of you who sing bhajans, when will that day be mine? And by the way, Praneshri, I don't know about others. I can't see any image somehow in Zoom. Oh, now I can. It's coming. Okay.
Is when I'm sharing the screen, I think I shouldn't share the screen because you lose the vision of all of them here.
Okay, anyway, everything is good. All is good. Yes, come, Didi. And the also, I mean, the point about this is that we follow the process. And what process? We don't have to try to decide ourselves by reading the books and then think, okay, how will I arrange my day? How will we arrange our day of chanting, like the proper measure of chanting, of reading, of the different processes? We've been given that golden guideline by, well, Srila Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. But for everybody, not only for those who live in the temple, this is also the matter. It's for everybody, and every home should be a temple. We have a neighbor here, and we're gradually trying to let her see that her house is also Krishna's house. So when we have devotees come and we need a little space, then, I mean, what's the difference between, we can say, oh, the ashram will own a house, or you have somebody who has their house, but they have it open for the devotees. So this is an example on our doorstep, literally on our doorstep. Chinmoy Dev knows that the mother and the little son, they gradually are coming. Both of them attended our a program on Sunday. We had a public program, and then in here, and they both came and sang. And the boy likes to sing. I hear him walking around singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's getting through to his mum now too. But the point is that everywhere is a temple, if we only can, again, the proper angle of vision. But in this case, we heard about the proper angle of vision with the Vaishnavas and the proper angle of vision with everything. And so gradually, by following the process, by having faith in the name and chanting the holy name, then gradually we come to see the sweetness of the holy name, the sweetness of the pastimes, the sweetness of everything related to Krishna. Our heart becomes actually a temple, and that our homes become a temple, and we can practice wherever we are. Hare Krishna. But we need to follow, not to take one meal and think I'm going to be nourished. And unfortunately, in India, we've seen several cases of jaundice. And it's not, I think, such a common disease in the colder countries or the Western countries. But in India, unfortunately, it is fairly common. And really, you see the devotees taking sugar candy. And those days, there was a fashion of doolals. What is it called? Doolals, mishti, something. They were palm date candies. And the doolal was the brand. And the devotees would love to take those. But the devotees who got jaundice, if they put one of those like sweet, tasty candies in their mouth, they are thinking it's terrible. But the medicine, as you see from previously, we don't have to start now going to the laboratory and do research. We already know that the medicine for this is sugar candy. But then, as they get better, and then what we know they're well again when, guess what? They're asking us to go to the market. Oh, Mahananda, I need some doolal, something candy. Oh, okay. You're better then, aren't you? Yes, this candy is so good. So proper angle of vision, but not only forced, you see, that's the proper angle of vision comes, the proper taste comes. It's not, okay, in the beginning it's a little forced, I suppose, but it's not that, okay, I'm going to imagine that this candy is sweet. It becomes sweet to the tongue. So we are not forcing everything. It is the natural evolution, the natural effect of our devotional service. So again, we're not imitating those things of the higher world. We're not imitating this and that. It's coming automatically by the process. Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Kumdidi. And we've got 1, 2, 3, and now 4, or rather 5, 6, 7, and now 8. And 8 is a wonderful verse too. Jivana Devidasi, are you ready to read and to share with us needy souls? Oh, sorry, with this needy soul and with the other good Vaishnavas.
Okay, so text 8, Tanama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu, Smrityo Kramena, Rasana Manasi Niryoja, Tishtan Vraje Tad Anuragi, Jananugami, Kalam Nayed Akilam Upadeśāmṛta. So this translation is the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka Vrindavandam, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees, who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
Jai. Yes. Please hold up the gem and share some light from the gem. Jivanadidi?
Well, from the first line of Prabhupada's purport, something I can relate to is since the mind may be one's enemy or one's friend, one has to train the mind. So sometimes when we read these, sometimes when I read these things, I feel like, oh, there's just no way. But then this purport is really encouraging, because we know that the mind can be your friend or your enemy. And the Krishna consciousness movement, the word that Prabhupada uses here is that it's meant for training the mind. So of course, in the beginning, when you're training, like if you're training for anything, for a race or something, you're going to fall, you're not going to go fast enough. So many things are going to happen, but you don't stop training. You keep going, and then you gradually make some progress. And I really like the example that Madhusudana Maharaj gave about that we do these things every day, because someone was once saying that, oh, well, we already did this yesterday. We have to do this every single day. And Maharaj, you made that comment that it's like eating breakfast. You eat breakfast every day. And every day you need that, and every day you get nourishment from it. So similarly, this training is really helping us to eventually make our mind come to the point of becoming a friend instead of an enemy, and it will be helping us instead of always trying to divert us. At least me. This doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to me all the time.
Hare Krishna. Yes. And you have the purport in front of you, right?
Yes.
Because I don't have it in front of me, but I believe in that verse, or at least in similar situations, Srila Prabhupada, he is saying too about that part about residing in Goloka, or residing in Vrindavan, and serving under the affectionately under the shelter of a devotee, something along those lines. In this way, one should reside in Braja, Goloka, Vrindavan, Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. And so in the purport, certainly in relation to this, Srila Prabhupada on many occasions is saying about, and what does it mean to reside in Braja? Wherever there is a temple of the Lord and that the devotional service is taking place there is Braja. And so we also see this in the world. We see this. We get very sweet, beautiful, like not only feeling, it's not just a feeling, it is the place of devotional service. When we come to the different temples and we see, oh, here is the deity being worshipped, here is the beautiful puja going on, here are the Vaishnavas, here is that, like the embassy of that upper world here. Just as it is if you go to you can say the physical Braja. But remember, when we did cover the 10 offenses to the holy Dham, we mustn't even think that Braja that Vrindavan or Navadip are parts of any province, such as Bengal or Uttar Pradesh. So that Braja we visit when we visit there, it has to be the Braja of the worship of the deity and the association of the devotees. So it's not necessary for all the, however many initiated devotees there are in the world. Do you think it's 100,000 outside India? Not sure, but tens of thousands of devotees certainly are initiated around the world by now within the Gaudiya line, within devotional service, within the line that Mahaprabhu has given. It's not that suddenly 100,000 devotees all get on a plane and go and build high-rise flats in Vrindavan. So this little extra thing about that verse, that Braja is wherever the devotees are, wherever the devotional service is going on, this emphasis.
All right. Srila Gurudev, he was explaining this verse once in one of the talks, and then he is giving example of how, please remind me, Mahaprabhu's eternal Jagadananda Pandit. He asks Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan. And Mahaprabhu is giving very similar instructions to Jagadananda Pandit. And one of the main instructions, he's stressing that point, and importance of that point is to be under the guidance of Sanatana Goswami, he said, do not make a single step without his company. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he also stresses this point, and he says that you have to reside in Vraja, but on one condition. You must take shelter of Anuragi Jana, the ones who is actually experiencing that, having taste, actually being in that world. So he will show you the Vraja. Then you will truly be residing that. And so Gurudev said, and actually it is the serving plane. So the one who is in that, who is expert in that service already, he will give you, he will point you in the right direction. He will give you full shelter and engage you on that plane. And then Rupa Goswami says, Upadeśāmṛta, Kalam Nayata Kilometer Upadeśāmṛta. This is the essence of all the instructions. That's it.
That's a big it also. That's beautiful. And it is so. Gurudev didn't want the devotees like doing anything and everything in the Dham. Even, I mean, in Navadip, Gurudev really didn't want, he gave direct instructions not to visit the homes of others. You are a resident of the Dham. They invite you to their home. In the Dham, not to do that. You stay here under the shelter, Chaitanya Saraswat mat, literally, within the walls, unless there is service outside. And so under the guidance, under the protection, to keep everything safe from also making any offense to the residents of the Dham, offense in our judgment, in our activities, and many, many things, but being protected on our journey. But these are wonderful shlokas, of course, and this is why Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, Śrīla Prabhupada, everybody is repeatedly emphasizing these, and these verses, every one of these verses is in Prapana Jivanamritam. Shri Prapana Jivanamritam, life nectar of the surrendered souls. Krishna, Krishna. And Praneshri Didi, I see there's a question on Facebook of how to enter into Zoom. And I think it's one of our Chiang Mai sweet devotees, but the image is too small for me to see. Krishna, Krishna. Anyway, these are our 4 verses for today of Upadeśāmṛtam. And really, we want to have them in our heart. So is anybody going to close their eyes and tell us the essence of verse 5 and verse 6? 5 and... So I know we're going back to our previous bundle, but verses 4, 5, and 6 are all Vaishnava centered. And then 7 is the magic of the chanting of the holy name, the great wonder that just by chanting, then our disease is cured and our proper taste will come in our tongue. And number 8, the essence of all advice. It is so that it's kind of, it is logical, I mean, of course it's logical, but there are some logical ways we can remember what comes verse by verse by verse. Hare Krishna. Yes, Chinmoy Dev Prabhu.
I have a
Sadhu.
question about verse number 5.
Okay, and the question is, and who are we going to ask to answer it?
I think we should ask the reciter of that verse.
Praneshwari Devidasi.
Oh, it was actually Paramananda.
Oh, verse 5.
Yeah. Right?
Well, it wasn't. It was well, I may be mistaken. I think.
Yes,
Oh, yes, it was. Yes. I am mistaken. And now we can come to another verse about the nature of the jiva soul, the living entity in this world, always subject to various things, including making mistakes. Okay, I'm a jiva soul of this world. Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, please ask to Paramananda Prabhu.
So the second type of devotee, I guess we could say, we are to give them obeisances, pay obeisances to them, the ones who are initiated in serving the deity. And then third type is to serve those who are Nanyabak, who are purely devoted Vaishnava. So, but we're also told that many times by our gurus and sadhus and Vaishnavas that we want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So how do we adjust that? Because we also want to serve even those who are initiated. And
I think, Prabhu, I think there is, well, like I said, there's different interpretations of different words, Sanskrit words. And as you know, one Sanskrit word can have different meanings according to the context and who is explaining that. So actually what I have heard, and if we going back to Chaitanya Śrī Upadeśāmṛta, where Mahaprabhu is explaining 3 types of different Vaishnavas to the inhabitants of Kulinagram, Satyaraj Khan, he's asking those questions year after year. He's asking, Mahaprabhu giving answer, one year. So he is saying that the highest devotee, we are to take shelter, naturally, to fully take shelter. With the similar devotees who got initiation, we're to serve together. And serving together means serving each other. It's kind of encompassing. I mean, we can, of course, translate this verse, but the translation will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you read Anubhashyas by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's another Bhashya by Srila Saraswati Thakur. And I think we have it, Maharaj. I don't know where we have it, but we have the book somewhere, but it's not on the Mount website, with all the illuminations by them. Then you can see how step by step it is explained and expanded from one verse. So many different details coming out, and they're elaborating. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Saraswati Thakur, they're giving us answer. And the ones who are singing, it's like, on the street, you may sing Nagar Sankirtan. That's an example. And somebody joyfully, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You never met that person. You will never meet that person again. Maybe you may join, who knows? But you respect that person. In your heart, you feel joy. Oh, wonderful. Look, just by feeling that joy, you're respecting that person. And you're serving that person by chanting, and maybe you're going to offer some prasadam, maybe you're going to offer some book, maybe you're going to offer an invitation for the program. That's also service. And even in your mind, why is it set in mind? Because you may not have opportunity otherwise. You are doing all those things in your mind. You're extending your best wishes to that person, thinking, oh, I wish this person join us. That's service as well. So service is always there. It doesn't go anywhere. It's a current. It's always happening. And the Turk is confirming that. Anyhow, I think it's good. It's in our interest to read the Bhashyas and Tikas by Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then we can get a bigger picture of the verse. And we can talk about it long time on each verse. And Madhusudan Maharaj knows. And really, it is wonderful.
And another aspect too is for instance, if we say, okay, here we have Guru Maharaj, we've got the pure devotee, we've got everything, all we've got the pure devotee, never mind everything else. Then, but he's wanting that the devotees, will serve under a senior devotee. So then again, by serving the devotees, where also the guidance is all coming from like the pure source. And this came about too in the kirtans, the bhajans in the Nath Mandir, downstairs in Navadip. We're right beside Guru Maharaj. But it's all taking place under his guidance, directly or indirectly. And so the kirtan, it's told, needs to be led by the pure devotee. Well, who is leading the kirtan is Guru Maharaj. But the devotees are engaging in that service. And so then we are really becoming das, anudas, because we are serving those devotees. And so we have the temples around the world, we have devotees around the world. And the honor to the devotees and the opportunity for the preaching, the deity worship, the running of the ashrams, etc. All of this, what does Gurudev want us to do? What does Guru Maharaj want us to do? He wants us to serve the devotees who are there. But we know that, we're living in the world, and okay, there are the turkeys. We know we're living in this world. And I mean, Guru Maharaj directly asked me to serve a devotee, and we know everyone's got faults, but the devotee also, he's a devotee, and we're serving under Guru Maharaj, and we're happily serving under Guru Maharaj, and not losing our faith in the devotee also. We just say, yes, I'm serving under his direction. And he's passed away now, but he was also a very good friend, and we are all young, but when we're extremely young, we need, the help of the less extremely young. And so our devotional world goes on, and the pure devotees, they're putting us under the care of the senior classmates, the older classmates, and the older classmates in grade 1, the older classmates when we go to grade 2, always is going to be somebody senior to us. So we are, the whole of the Krishna consciousness in the West is taking place under the guidance of the pure devotees, those Paramahamsa devotees.
Maharaj,
Yes,
can I ask a question, please?
you just did. And the answer is yes.
Yes. So with chanting, I understand that I chant with the service mood, but I also hear with the aspiration that, that Krishna to dance on your tongue. But what if I feel that my tongue is such a vile place? How can I understand that?
Well, you know what Sevarupa did. I'm going to send this question to Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, because he's actually very, and we love it too, he's very good to ask questions, and he has the questions to ask, but he also can answer questions. So Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, this one, please.
Well, I could say verse 7 answers this perfectly, because this is the really most wonderful, merciful Lord Krishna giving us what we need. What is our disease? We cannot chant properly. What is the cure? Chant. So the cure for our disease is chanting. So chanting again, purifying that platform, your tongue, so the Lord can come and dance. That is just so wonderful. And one day it will taste sweet. Now it may taste bitter, it may not taste so good. But Krishna has given us the cure to our disease, that we cannot chant properly. Solution, chant. I think Maharaj is frozen. He didn't like that answer.
No, that was a perfect answer, Chinmoy. He was not frozen, he was stunned.
It was a very good answer.
Thank you, Chinmoy
Yeah.
Dev. So in other words, by chanting more, your tongue actually becomes a platform where you can invite Krishna to dance on, as we hear in the scriptures.
That's what that verse 7 is saying, is that the name of Krishna is super sweet. And because we have this disease like jaundice, we're just tasting bitter. We're not tasting the actual sweetness of the holy name of the Lord. And so what's the cure? What's the cure for jaundice? Tasting that sweet thing again and again and again and again. So even if we don't have the taste of the holy name of the Lord, chant. That is the solution. That is the cure.
So even if in our minds we see our tongue as a horrible place and can't imagine how Krishna would actually be invited there, as we chant, we will change our vision.
Through chanting, as if you're perceiving chanting as seva, as service, this is the conception that we have. We're inviting the mercy of the Lord. We're inviting the Lord to descend. And through our service mood, that's the only way we're going to get the mercy of the Lord to descend. If we have a sincere serving mood, then that will attract him. You know, Krishna's not attracted by wealth. He's not attracted by beauty, by power. What he's looking for is that serving attitude of ours. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi, is that Śrī Rupa Goswami's?
Na bhaved grahyam indriya sivan mukhe hi jihvada swayamevasturachada. Rupa Goswami.
Yeah, maybe you can explain that a little better, because I don't know it exactly so well.
It says that you cannot approach Krishna, you cannot understand or perceive of his qualities, of his pastimes, of his name, the greatness of that, the depth of that, with your material senses. You have to approach in a serving mukh, sevan mukhe hi jihvada. So Rupa Goswami said, through the service, it will enter your heart. Swayamavasturachada. That will happen. And Srila Gurudev, he also said something in that connection. He said, I was thinking, sometimes devotees asking me, oh, Prabhupada is asking us to chant 16 rounds. And some, you know, our dear senior Vaishnava, he said, well, maybe we should chant less, because otherwise we're just chanting Namaparat, 16 rounds of Namaparat. But Guru Maharaj was so merciful, he asked us to chant only 4 rounds of Namaparat. But Srila Gurudev said, yes, it is a humor of our devotees, but we shouldn't give up. Why we shouldn't give up? Because the holy name, seeing our sincere, faithful efforts, even though we're not feeling any attachment, we haven't developed that. We haven't developed the taste. We're not tasting sweetness, but we're very sincere, very faithful to the orders of our spiritual master, and continue chanting the holy name. The holy name itself become merciful. The holy name, the Nam Prabhu, he will give us special mercy and remove all the obstacles, all the offenses from our path, and manifest himself on our tongue and our heart. That's what we're praying for. That's what we're hoping for. And really, that's a wonderful explanation by Srila Gurudev. And like Chimoydev Prabhu said, whatever is in that verse, it's all true. So keep trying. Let's keep trying. I'm telling to myself too. And I'm certainly severely afflicted by jaundice. And trust me, I've been sick with real jaundice. You know, it was like a seasonal disease when I was living in India. And maybe some of you who were there, maybe Chinmoy got it too. It was pretty seasonal, especially in Vrindavan, somehow. In Navadvip is more merciful, really. I haven't been sick when I was in Navadvip so much, but every time you go to Vrindavan, in the past, when I lived there for some time, parikrama time, always getting sick. We always have that experience.
And Gurudev also mentions over and over again, we are not to be hopeless. So it may take, you know, we have really no idea what we're approaching. But our gurus, our guardians, they're saying this thing is so wonderful. So it will take some time.
Thank you,
Raj, you broke our heart by disappearing, just like that.
Well,
you are a true devotee of your Lord.
Well, you know, literally, I have my Mac on for 6 months or more at a time. I never turn the thing off. Maybe go to sleep because it's a Macintosh. But Zoom, for some reason, recently, a couple of times it's just crashed, which like never happens. But anyway, we don't know why. But so everything, we'd have to all reset, read this. So please excuse Zoom. But anyway, I couldn't hear the answer, but I will come back to hear the answer. I'll come and hear it on the recording presently. But I'm sure you got a good understanding. And I just caught the last bit about how Paramananda Prabhu, I know Chinmoy was answering, but Paramananda Prabhu was mentioning about the actually having jaundice. If we hear from somebody who actually has jaundice about that sugar candy and then how it changes, then that can also help us get some intensity of the reality of the tongue's initial tasting, and we're thinking our tongue is not a place for Krishna, and to change. Not to go and get the jaundice. Oh, please, yeah, don't experiment by taking. Just take a word of those who had it. Yeah. And the other thing is that the holy name, we hear also, it enters the ear, comes to the heart, and from the heart it comes to the tongue. And so also our heart we must cleanse our heart, we must cleanse our tongue, we must cleanse our mind, we must cleanse our intelligence, all of these things. And what is the cleansing process that's given to us? It is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And it is that in Kali Yuga. It's not that, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to go and do penances, I'm going to learn yoga and do yoga, you know, so many times meditate on the cosmos and meditate on apples and meditate on the candle. Oh, and then the breeze blows and then the candle flickers and then my meditation goes. It's not that that's going to work. Even if you're really good at focusing your mind, it's still not going to work in Kali Yuga because it's not the appropriate medicine for the time, place, and circumstance for this world. The medicine is the holy name of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord. How? Following Trinadapi, Sunichina, Taroriva, Sahishnuna, Amanina, Manadina. This process. And with what mood? Service, service, service. So we've been given the medicine and we can complain to ourselves, oh, my heart is so pure, oh, my tongue is impure, oh, this, that, and the other. But we can complain to ourselves, but we can say, now I must take the medicine. If we get a disease, then we can say, oh, why did I get this disease and expose myself to that, or I did something foolish, so I broke my leg, or whatever it may be. But from whatever position we're in, we have to try to get ourselves again healthy in the material world. That's a big business. It's maybe one of the biggest businesses in the world, the desire to get healthy. But we need to look, one, at the cause of the disease, and number two, the medicine for getting out of it. And then number three, how to stay healthy and how to be nourished properly. And believe me, it's not vitamin C and vitamin D, BA, 1, 2, 99, calcium phosphate 99. It's the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. Yes, Praneshwari Devi Dasi.
Yes,
By the way,
Maharaj.
Chinmade or Paranand, if any of you, if I repeated things you've said, please excuse me, but I popped back and said something. Praneshwari Devi.
Yes, Maharaj. The devotee that was asking the Zoom details has joined us from Colombia. His name is Madhupati. So he has connected from Colombia, just like Madhavi. Madhavi is in Colombia. Her daughter, she is here in Florida.
Ah, okay. I thought she was in Colombia and then, okay. So clarification. So Madhavi, I thought so originally, then I thought I'd made a mistake because I can, as we know. So yes, okay. So Madhavi and Madhupati Prabhu, welcome, of course. Jai, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Maharaj.
Dandavad.
Very happy to see you, Maharaj.
All right, we're happy to have you with us, Madhupati Prabhu. And you're welcome every time. Come and join us. We are here for sharing, actually, sharing the basics of our devotional life, which is actually, at least for me, that is our devotional life, to try to keep ourselves firm in the basics, try to make ourselves firm in the basics. It's a work in progress. So happily today, we've been going through especially the second batch of 4 verses from Upadeśāmṛta, Śrīla Prabhupada's Nectar of Instruction. Or Rupa Goswami's Upadeśāmṛta.
I will be connecting more often to your classes, Maharaj. I am happy to hear your sweet Harikatha.
Hare Krishna. Well, we've got sweet devotees with us, and you're welcome. Welcome with the sweet devotees. Jai.
Dandavad Maharaj.
Dandavad. But actually, the time you've joined us, okay, I know a little bit before, but now we're just kind of closing. We've been 1 hour, generally coming. Jai. So, but any quick question or quick feedback? Sometimes devotees have something in their heart. I want to say this. anything from any quarter, you can put up a hand, unmute yourself, or ask Praneshri to unmute you. Yes, here's a hand, Chinmoy Prabhu.
Well, I've just listened to this one video of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, where it gives this beautiful explanation that at this time, this Kali Yuga, the most diseased patients, that would be us, are receiving the strongest medicine from Mahaprabhu. So that case, we are very fortunate.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hare Krishna. And Rupanuga Prabhu, you've been very quiet. Actually, a lot of you have been very quiet this week, but happy to have you hearing. And okay, so the next after, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, after 3 days, whatever day that is with you, then we'll try to give a little more opportunity for others to say something, to participate, to show some gems. And in the meantime, let us each try to go through Upadeśāmṛta daily, maybe, and keep this as being very familiar to us. It's not, oh yes, what were those 6 things? But just let us try to keep it familiar to us. Praneshwari Didi.
5 seconds. Dandavats from Divya Shakti Didi, from Nadia Priya from Kharkiv, Ukraine, and from Ishanuga Devidasi in London.
Okay, Dandavat to each of you. Dandavat also to all of those who will see on Facebook and on the recorded Zoom perhaps. I'm not sure. Anyway, on the Facebook who will see in the future. And Dandavats to all the devotees who see or do not see. Today in our Upadeśāmṛta reading, we see how all the devotees we to give our obeisances to and not to notice anything external in the devotees, rather to know that the devotee is there, all important, all purifying, just like the waters of the Ganges. And I can say just one thing about the water of the Ganges. It's the only major river in the world that I've ever drunk from, and happily. And not only a little bit, drunk quite a bit on our swim from Hapanya to Navadip. Then like a fish, even feeling a little bit like a fish in the Ganges and drinking the Ganges water. I'm very happy, very happy. Good days. All right, dear devotees, yes, we're giving our obeisances. And Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, founder or charger of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Jai, his inseparable, wonderful Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, who has brought Guru Maharaj the whole world into you can say maturity. He's given the opportunity for us to be developed in our Krishna consciousness. He's given the maturity of the Krishna consciousness as it is in the world. Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has brought us Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, prepared by his Siksha Guru, Srila Guru Maharaj, brought the whole world this wave of Krishna consciousness. Ki Jai. And of course, Bhagavan, Jai Bhagavan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who they're all presenting to us. Jai Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai, Shri Sad Goswami Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Goswami Ki Jai, who wrote Śrī Upadeśāmṛta as presenting Mahaprabhu's voice, Mahaprabhu presenting Upadeśāmṛta through Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami Ki Jai, Śrī Upadeśāmṛta Ki Jai. And all our present day, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. And all our present day Vaishnava, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda around the world, Ki Jai. And Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya, Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam to one and all. Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Whose voice was that? Hare Krishna. Dandavat to you all.